Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya madhyamam Asmadacharya paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we'll start as usual with the Dakshinamurthy Moola Mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. 9 times we can do it, and here is the mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Let us chant the Dakshinamurthy Stotram. We have completed 5 of the Dhyana shlokas, which help us to tune in to the symbolism of Dakshinamurthy. And then out of the 9 main verses, we have covered the 10th verse is a Phalashruti. And we have completed the first 2 shlokas, 1 and 2. So we will go directly to the first 2 main verses and chant it, and Sunita will repeat after me. So we get to hear it twice. Om Vishvam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam.
Vishvam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam.
Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirivotbhutai Yatha Nidraya.
Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirivotbhutai Yatha Nidraya.
Yasakshat kurute prabodha samaye swatmanameva dvayam.
Yasakshat kurute prabodha samaye स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम्
तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये
तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये
बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः
बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः
मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम्
मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम्
मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगीव यः स्वेच्छया
मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगीव यः स्वेच्छया
तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये
तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये
So we have been seeing the shlokas of Dakshinamurthy Stotram, which is glorifying the teacher of all teachers, Lord Dakshinamurthy. But at the same time, it is a Prakarana Grantha. It is a short text by Adi Shankaracharya, which reveals the vision of the Upanishads. So in life, we all have these questions at some point or the other. Generally, these questions will come at a stage where there is Purushartha Nishchaya. Yeah? So what are these questions? Questions like, what is the reality of the world? What is the nature of the supreme power? And where do I fit in? What is my role and place in the scheme of things? Yeah. So all these questions are addressed in the vision of Vedanta or the vision of Upanishads. The Upanishads make the bold statement, Tat Nirguna Parabrahma Tvam Asi. In very short, Mahavakyam or the Vedantic equation is what? Tat Tvam Asi. That the essence of that supreme power, the creator of the entire universe, is your essential Swarupa. Who says this? The Guru. So the Guru gives this Upadesha to an eligible student of Vedanta. And what will the answer be? If the Guru says Tattvam Asi, the ready eligible student of Vedanta who is sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari will say Aham Brahma Asmi after understanding. Now this is a very bold statement made by the Upanishads. So it is natural to question, how can I be equated to the supreme power? It is like when a school student listens for the first time the Einsteinian equation, E is equal to mc square. Yeah? So obviously the student is going to be puzzled. Yeah? So how to make both sides of the equation become identical? And that is why we have the teaching. And we need a guru who bodhayati, who teaches us the vision of the Upanishads. Yeah? So that is what we are seeing in the Dakshinamurthy Stotram. And as I said last time, this is a very high level of Vedanta, which we have all connected because of our prarabdha. But generally, we would all begin with a very simple text of definitions like Tattva Bodha, Then Bhagavad Gita, which kind of eases us into this topic. And here, what does Dakshinamurthy Stotram do? It just plunges us into the vision. So there may be some difficulty. But Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam, Gita says. If we have an open mind and allow the first wave of teaching to seep in, then over a period of time, by repeated Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, definitely it is going to become as clear as daylight. Okay, so now, what is the starting point in Vedanta? Starting point is Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. Yeah? So we have to be clear about what is Nitya Vastu and what is Anitya Vastu. So Nitya Vastu is, as the name suggests, is Nityam. Yeah? Trikaleshu Tishtati Yat Satyam Tat Nityam. Yeah? So that which is the changeless consciousness principle is Nitya Vastu, or Satyam we say, or Atma, yeah? Which is kind of easy to understand, accept it. Then what is Anitya Vastu? We saw that acronym BMW. Yeah? Whatever is experienced, whatever is witnessed, whatever can be observed, can be known, whatever is the matter principle in the whole world is Anitya Vastu. Why Anitya? Because even as I am seeing a tree, the tree's body has changed. Yeah? So matter principle is always subject to change. It is Anitya Vastu, and it is the name given to that in Vedanta is mithya. Yeah? So these two words I clarified in the last session. Satyam is Nitya Vastu, the changeless consciousness principle, and mithya is the constantly changing matter principle. Yeah? And this is quite clear. A little bit of analysis will tell me that my body is changing. Am I the same baby that was born 50 years ago? Yeah? Everything has changed. Yeah. Blood cells, tissues, the whole thing, weight, of course. So mind, I'm witnessing the modifications of the mind. Yeah, mind has hopefully become more mature over time. Then world, of course, we experience it. Yeah? So whatever is experienced is an object. It is classified under mithya. And the experiencer, the subject, is the Nitya Vastu, Atma, or Satya. Yeah? This is the starting point. In Tattva Bodha, we see the definition. Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha. Then what did we see in the first verse? Just a short recap, because these are so profound, contemplative verses. Yeah? So here Shankaracharya gives us two examples, drishtantas, to clarify Satyam Mithya connection. The first example is what? Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam. Yeah. Now you take a mirror. We all have mirrors in our homes, in our car windows, shopping malls. So many instances of mirror are there. Why? Because we benefit from the reflection. Yeah? So in the Darpana, Drishyamana Nagari, the reflected city seen in the mirror, yeah. What is the connection between the reflected city and the mirror? There we see the Satyam Mithya connection. So the mirror stands for Satyam and the reflected city will stand for Mithya. Now, does the mirror depend on the reflection or the other way around? So the reflected city depends on the mirror. Wherever there is a mirror, there will be a reflection. Yeah? So we see that Shankaracharya, by giving this example, he wants to tell us that Satyam is that which is lending support. Satyam is the Nitya Vastu. And whatever is Mithya is borrowing existence from Satyam, is dependent on Satyam. Yeah? Now, if the city, if it is night time, then there is no reflected city, but the mirror continues. So we saw a modern day example, which perhaps we can relate to more easily. That is the movie and the screen. A movie is like James Bond or, Alfred Hitchcock, whatever, is projected on a screen. Yeah? Now, the movie cannot exist without a screen. But can the screen exist without the movie? Yes. Mirror exists without any objects. Mirror simply continues. Movie screen continues. But the movies come and go. Reflections come and go. So, that which comes and goes, which borrows existence, which is dependent reality, we call it mithya. And that which is permanent, lending support, which is nitya vastu, is Atma Satyam. Yeah? Then the next question we can ask ourselves is, does the mithya affect the Satyam? What is the connection between Satyam and mithya? So again, let's go back to the reflected city in the mirror. Now, supposing that day it is raining, so in the reflection also we will see the rain. But does the rain make the mirror wet? Obviously not. And all the James Bond action that we see in the movie, all with the gunshots and whatnot, is it going to pierce the screen? No. So mithya fire, mithya floods, mithya wars in the movie or in the reflection cannot affect the Satyam, the screen or the mirror. Yeah? So this is another point to be noted, that one is mithya is dependent for its existence on Satyam, and mithya cannot affect the Satyam in any way. Yeah? But on the other hand, what does Satyam do? Today we are going to see the verses. Satyam lends existence to mithya. We say Satyam blesses mithya. Satyam illumines mithya. Because of Satyam, we are able to enjoy mithya. Yeah? So that is why when it comes to the world, my body, my mind, all the experiences in Vedanta, we say that Atma lights up the whole world, including my body, mind, sense, world. Yeah? So what is the conclusion here? Vishwam, so the world, Shankaracharya says, is equivalent to the reflected city in the mirror. The world is like the movie projected on the screen. So the world is like even the movie projected or reflected or experienced in my mind. So the mind is the screen. Yeah. So this means that I am not in the world, but the world is in me. Yeah. Normally when we look around, we see that, oh, I am in the world just like this table, this computer, my parents, they're all in the world. I too am in the world. But in Vedanta, it's the other way around. The world is in me. In me, it's reflected in the mind, and the mind is lighted up by Atma. Yeah, that Nitya Vastu Atma, we say often Jyotisham Jyotihi, light of all lights. Now, how do we understand this? Shankaracharya says the world is not outside, but it is Nija Antargatam. That word comes in the very first verse, Nijantargatam. The world is in me. So here, let us look at the second example. Yatha Nidraya. Yatha Nidraya is just as in sleep. Yeah, here Shankaracharya gives the second Drishtantaha, which is the Swapna Drishtantaha. The dream example. Last night, when I went to sleep, within a couple of minutes, what happened? I traveled to America. It is said that in the dream, we enjoy a greater degree of freedom than in the waking state. In the waking state, the Chennai consulate refused my visa. But in the dream state, no problem. My passport is stamped and I am in US. Yeah? Then I go around the national parks or whatever and visit all my cousins and relatives there, and then I return. Now, while dreaming, the experience is very real. Dreamer, dream world, dream experiences. But the moment I wake up, it is all nijantargatam. Where did the dream come from? From the mind of the waker. And where did it disappear? Into the mind of the waker. No? That is the meaning of nijantargatam. The Drishtanta number 2 of Shankaracharya, who says that on waking up, the dream is seen to be in me, yeah, from the mind. And the mind is lighted up by Atma. Yeah? So too, when we say the world is in me, what do I really mean? We saw the example, no, of the flower last time. Let us take any object, a flower or the smell of jasmine or the sound of a truck. So the world enters my mind through the 5 organs of knowledge. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So these perceptions of sound, touch, forms, smells and taste, they all enter my mind. And then in my mind, it undergoes further processing. Yes, this is a chamandi, chrysanthemum. It's yellow in color. I love chrysanthemums. Or this is a pen. This is my friend. Oh, this lady, I don't like her. You know, she's always talking too much. All happening in the mind. No? So where is pleasure, pain, sukham, dukham, friend, enemy, beauty? You know, in English we say beauty lies in the beholder. How beautifully said. Yeah. So if I perceive somebody as beautiful, the same person can be perceived by you as ugly. It is, if I say this is my son, for you it is just a young, human being or a man, right? So that is why we say Vishwam is nijantargatam. Vishwam, the whole universe, is like a movie which is reflected in the screen of my mind in the form of vrittis. Vritti also I introduced last time, remember? To see a flower, an external flower, there has to be a mental concept or a vritti. Vritti means thought. So I have flower vritti. Then next I will have a pot vritti. Then I will have a pen vritti. Yeah. So the vrittis are constantly changing. Yeah? And the whole world is being experienced in my mind. So what is the problem here? The problem is there are flowers and pots and people and trees and countries outside. Yeah, there is an objective reality. But the moment the perceptions come into my mind, then there is a subjective world. I like her, I hate him. I don't want this, I want this. I will not fight the Mahabharatam war, Arjuna's mind. No. So there are a lot of interpretations and conclusions happening in my mind. So the same situation will appear in 10 different ways according to 10 different minds of the observers. And that is why nijantargatam. Yeah. So I am not in the world, but the world is in me. Yeah. So that is what we saw in the first shloka. Vishwam Pashyan Atmani. The world is perceived in me. But Maya, because of Maya Shakti, Bahihi Iva Udbhutam. It appears outside. Now, if you go and say this to any friend of yours who's not attending Vedanta class, they will think that you are gone crazy. How can the world be inside? So, this we can only say in a Vedanta class, that the world is really in my mind and it is not independently existing externally. Yeah. So the dream example shows us that. Then, yes, sakshat kurute prabodha samaye. When I wake up from what? From the dream of the waking state. Yeah. So what is the dream of the waking state? In the real world, when I take the mithya, anitya vastu to be very real, independently existing, am I not dreaming in the waking state? So then Yes, Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye, on waking up. And who will wake me up? Sri Dakshinamurthy. The Guru, through the teachings, awakens us, the Jivas, to the original nature. Swatmanam eva advayam. That Atma, it is I, the Atma Nitya Vastu, lending existence to the entire BMW. Swami Paramarthananda ji will say, Atma, you take the 3 letters. What does it become? ATM. So Atma is like ATM. ATMs are ever available. They are all over the place. Yeah? So Atma is the changeless, all-pervading consciousness principle which lends existence to the whole universe. So unto that Guru who awakens me through the teaching, Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshina Murtaye. So that is the first verse, and where we quickly saw the 2 drishtantas presented by Adi Shankaracharya to explain Satya, Mithya and the connection between the two. Then verse 2, so we can say the first verse, verse 1 is Tvampadam, about the Jiva. The ignorant Jiva is awakened by the Guru to the nature of the Supreme Reality. Now the second verse is Tatpadam. That Tat Tvamasi, Tat refers to Ishwara. And here what did we see? We saw the nature of creation. How does the creation happen? Bijasya antaha iva ankuraha. So the metaphor of the sprout was taken there. Yeah? Just as the sprout was inside the seed, potentially. Yeah? And then when the time is ripe, sprout emerged. Yeah? You can take any other seed also, tomato seed, any other seed, then exactly the tomato sapling will come out. Yeah? So the entire genetic code for what has to emerge is there potentially in the seed-like state. So too, idam jagat prang nirvikalpam. So the entire universe that I am experiencing now, where was it before creation? Nirvikalpam. Nirvikalpa means undifferentiated, potentially there in the unmanifest stage. Yeah, Nirguna Parabrahma stage. Just pure consciousness. Yeah. In fact, this is called the womb of Mother Nature. Mother Nature's womb has the entire Jagat potentially in it. Yeah. Then Prang before. Then what? Then when the Ichha, the Sankalpa of Ishvara is there, let creation begin. Yeah. Then Punaha. Punaha means again the entire universe emerges or manifests from the seed-like unmanifest stage. Avyaktam. No? That's why we have Avyaktam, Vyaktam, Avyaktam, Vyaktam. So that Punaha word is important, which shows that the universe goes through cycles of manifestation, unmanifestation. Yeah? Appearance, disappearance. We see all around now, people who were with us for 40, 50, 60 years, then what? Then where do they go? Where have they disappeared? So Shastra says back to unmanifest, then again manifest. So this is the nature of creation. Yeah? Then how this is done? Maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitra chitri kritam. So look at the Maya Shakti of Parabrahma. The Maya Shakti is the power of Brahma, which manifests the Panchatanmatras and all the yugas and this amazing, diverse, varied, complex universe. Yeah? And we see what an intelligent design and order there is. Yeah? The planets are revolving in order. Yeah, the earth is tilting in order. Seasons are happening as they should. Yeah, some imbalance we are creating in the universe, but we see that the distances are maintained, orbits are maintained. So is it not the director of the universe? Has he not created such a perfect script for everyone to follow. Yeah? That is the nature of the universe. Vaichitrya chitri kritam. It's like this grand painting, vichitram, wondrous world, and where desha, space, kala, time is manifest. Kalana. How? Maya kalpita. By the power of Maya. And that same Maya also brings the sprout out of that mung, seed. So that is the metaphor we saw in this verse 2 to explain creation. And we have other metaphors also, like the dancer. You take a Bharatanatyam dancer. So we see that a well-trained dancer, she will come on the stage, then she will create a whole story. She becomes Yashoda, she becomes baby Krishna, the gopis, and all the exploits of Krishna will be shown just by one person. Yeah? And then in the end, everything folds back. She does a namaskara and exits. Yeah? So this manifestation is talked about, that Ishvara manifests through his Maya Shakti as the entire universe of Nama and Rupa. Now, what is that Ishvara compared to? Mayavi. Yeah? Mayavi means Maya asya asti iti Mayavi. The magician. Yeah? We saw that example, how the magician creates an illusory world for us. Yeah? Like that, the Ishvara is compared to as the Mayavi, who can just create a yugas in just by willpower. Then Vijrambayati, you have to correct it to Vijrambayati on the screen. Vijrambayati means to expand, to manifest. So that Ishvara manifests stage after stage, the whole subtle universes, gross universes. Yeah. Or another metaphor is like a Mahayogi. So Mahayogi, we know, like Vishwamitra, Vasishtha, they are all Mahayogis. Why? Because they have siddhis. They have unusual powers. If you remember the story of Vishwamitra, there was one Trishanku. Trishanku is a person who was not allowed entry into heaven by Indra. Indra said, no, you can't, you're not eligible to enter heaven. And at the same time, he was not allowed back on earth either by another angry sage. Then he's stuck in between, and he calls out for help. Then Vishwamitra, who is, supporting him, he says, don't worry, I will create a heaven right there. So in between heaven and earth, Vishwamitra creates a heaven for Trishanku. So such is the nature of a Mahayogi. What can they not create? Yeah. So even today, when we are stuck between two options, we say, oh, I'm like Trishanku, stuck. I can do neither this nor that. So Ishvara is compared to as a Mayavi magician or as a Mahayogi who can, by Sankalpa, Swa Ichchaya, by Sankalpa Matrena, creates the entire Srishti. Who is to be born where, in which yuga, what is the karma of the jivas, animal body, celestial body or human body, which continent, everything is already written. That is Swa Ichchaya. That is the power of Maya. And the Maya is Brahmashraya, power of Brahma. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurthaye. Unto that teacher who is the Lord and who has appeared as my Guru, my Namaskaras. Now, one more example which comes to our mind is, when we get up in the morning, early morning, when we get up, our eyes open, then the room becomes more clear. What is the first thought that comes to my mind? It will be only I am. That Nitya Vastu amness will first be evident. Yeah. Then after a couple of minutes, I blink my eyes and then, do my prayers, Samudra Vasane Devi, Parvatastana Mandale, Vishnupatni, Namastubhyam, Padasparsham, Shamaswami, or Karagre Vasate Lakshmi. Ityadi, we have the starting stotras in the morning. Then the other I am also Vijrambayati. Oh, I am Swamini Sumatmananda. I live in Secunderabad. Today is Saturday. I have a class today. I'm connected to these people. I have to do my laundry today. Is it not Vijrambayati? So the power of the Maya, my world expands into the day, into the roles that are going to come, functions, the day proceeds, and then I expand. Then at night, what happens? Everything falls back and into Nirvikalpam. Yeah? Then Punaha Vikalpam. So these are the stages, and we saw this already in last week. But because it's important, I repeated that. Today we will see verse 3, and Sunita can repeat after me. Now, verse 1 was Tvampadam, the Jiva. Verse 2 is about Ishvara, Tatpadam. And here we have the connection again in verse 3 about Satyam Mithya. What is the connection? We are going to see again. Yasyaiva spuranam sadatmakamasat
Yasyaiva spuranam sadatmakamasat
kalparthakam bhasate
kalparthagam bhasate
yasyaiva spuranam sadatmakamasat kalparthagam bhasate
Yasyaiva spuranam sadatmakamasat kalparthagam bhasate
sakshat tattvamasiti
Sakshat tattvamasiti
vedavachasa
Vedavachasa
sakshat tattvamasiti vedavachasa
Sakshat tattvamasiti Vedavachasa
yo bodhayatyashritan
Yo bodhayatyashritan
sakshat tattvamasiti vedavachasa yo bodhayatyashritan
Sakshat tattvamasiti Vedavachasa Yo bodhayatyashritan
Yeah. Where is the next one? Yes, sakshat karanat
Yat sakshat karanat
bhavenna punara
Bhavenna punara
vrittirbhavambho nidho.
Vrittirbhavambho nidau
Yes, sakshat karanat bhavenna punara vrittirbhavambho nidho.
Yat sakshat karanat bhavenna punara vrittirbhavambho nidau
तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
Again I will repeat it. यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत् कल्पार्थगं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यः साक्षात् करणात् भवेन्न पुनरावृत्तिर्भवाम्भो निधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. These verses, they are in a different meter. We're all familiar with Anushtup and Trishtup meters from the Gita. This is an unusual meter where we have in one pada 19 syllables. Yes, yaiva spuranam sadatmakam sat kalpatagam vasate. If you count on your fingers, 19. So this meter is called Shardula Vikrida. Shardula Vikrida. Anyway, that was just a side information. It's another meter for you to know. So now the teaching is that Brahma Tvam Asi. Yeah? But as Jivas, we are not aware of this yet. So who is going to awaken us from the sleep of ignorance? Guru. Yeah, Guru has this, I won't say job, but it's the Guru's, privilege or karma. Puja Swamiji will say, Guru is born to enlighten the Jivas. So, yasya iva spuranam sadatmakam asatkalpartagam bhasate. So, that nitya vastu satyam, it's spuranam. Spuranam is pulsation or light. Yeah? That is the nature of sat atmakam. Sadatmakam means pure existence. Like I come back to the flower. I say the flower is, the pot is, the pen is, the body is, the table is, the glass is, the weather is, frustration is. What is common to all? Is. Yeah. So in Vedanta, flower is a nama rupa, is a name and a form superimposed on isness. So there is a constant, invariable, pure existence which is supporting the world of nama rupa. And that is called sadatmakam in this verse. Yeah? So yasya, whose sadatmakam, that satvastu, that light makes the asatkalpartakam bhasate. So, asat. What are the asat vastus? Asat vastus we have to understand as not as false, but as mithya. Asat kalparthagam bhasate. Yeah. So the entire universe of plurality is shining after the light of Atma. Yeah. Now, shining means we should not imagine a glowing universe. Shining means it comes to light, it becomes evident. So, asat kalparthagam vishwam bhasate shines by whose grace? By the grace of Atma. By that's Puranam, and the Atma's nature is sadatmakam. And that Brahma, which is lighting up, that Satyavastu, Nirguna Brahma, Shuddha Chaitanyam, which is lending existence to the whole universe, including my body, mind, sense complex. Yeah, that is indeed myself, Atma. This is the teaching. Yeah, Tat Nirguna Parabrahma Tvam Asi. Yeah. Now here we'll take a small example of the famous clay pot. The clay pot, I have in my hand a clay pot, you can see. Yeah? Now, this humble clay pot will give us the entire teaching. Yeah? So, what do we see here? You will say pot. Yeah? But if we ask ourselves, where is the pot? Yeah? If you analyze, we will come to the conclusion that there is only clay, and clay has been shaped into a pot. So there is no pot substance. Can you show me the pot substance? No. So the pot is a vritti in my mind. And I can look it up in the dictionary and I will see the meaning of pot. Yeah. So there is no weight for the pot. There is no real pot. Yeah. There is only clay. Right? So pot is a nama rupa and which borrows existence from clay. So clay is a Satyavastu which is upholding pot. So Swamiji would say, this is like magic, The pot has disappeared. And what is in my hand? Only clay. So the clay is Satyam and pot is Mithya. Yeah? Now, similarly, if you take any other example, let us say, you take this cloth. I have this cotton towel in my hand. No? But if you really analyze, the towel is the name of this given to the cloth, which has a certain purpose to dry off. So that cloth, again, if you analyze, it is nothing but fiber. Fiber is nothing but yarn. Yarn, you analyze, you can go on breaking down. What will you break down? Molecules, atoms. Then science is telling us quarks, and finer particles. So we see that ultimately we are living in a world of Namarupa, 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 Namarupa. You can take the table or the body, and we find that on analysis, they're all Namarupas plus a certain function is added. Like the ornaments that we wear, gold ornaments. So we say, the earring, kundalam, and bangle and necklace. But in reality, they're all gold. Gold has manifested in the form of all these ornaments. So what will the jnani see? Instead of seeing the plurality, the tree, the flower, the people, the moon, sun and stars, the jnani will see with the sukshma drishti, the nitya vastu. The nirguna parabrahma is pervading this entire universe and upholding it. So that is the karanam. The cause alone has manifested as the effect. So when I take myself to be this body, mind, sense complex and say I am Mr. The example I gave, Mr. Professor Sharma. I am Professor Sharma. I am actually what? Identifying with karyam, product. But what is it that is upholding the product? Karanam, nirguna, parabrahma. So Vedanta takes us back to the source, source of from where the entire universe of plurality of Namarupa has emerged. Yeah? Just as a clay has appeared as a pot, so too the Brahma or Nitya Vastu is pervading the entire universe of Namarupa. Yeah? That's the first line. A simple example will perhaps make it easier. We say Suryaha Bhati, sun shines, and moon Chandraha Anubhati. Anubhati means reflects, shines after the sun. The moon doesn't have its own light, right? But the sun has. So too, Atma Bhati and Jagat Anubhati. So I, Atma, the light up the whole world. That is the world, Anubhati, and I, Bhami, I should say, in Uttama Purusha Ekavachanam. Now, second line, Sakshat Tattvam Asi Iti Vedavachasa Yaha Bodhayati. Now, who is going to teach us all this? Kaha Bodhayati? Who teaches Yaha Bodhayati? The Guru. And how? Vedavachasa, by the words of the Upanishads, Vedas. And what are those words? Tat Tvam Asi. We break those words, Sakshat Tat Tvam Asi Iti Vedavachasa Yaha Bodhayati Ashritan. Yeah? Now, whom will the Guru teach this? The last word, Ashritan. Ashritan means one who has taken refuge in this knowledge. Who is a mukshu. It is not meant for everybody. Yeah? So the one who has come to these questions, who wants this knowledge, who wants to be free from samsara, tam bodhayati. Dakshinamurthy, the Guru, will teach that person. And how? Vedavachasa, by these words of the Vedas or Upanishads, which are Tattvam Asi, Sakshat. Then we have Yat Sakshat Karanad Bhavet. Now let us say there is one eligible student who has got it. When Guru says Tattvam Asi, the student says Aham Brahma Asmi. Now he's understood the teaching. What is the teaching? That indeed I, the Atma Nitya Vastu, lend reality to this Jagan mithya, and I am the independently existing consciousness principle, upon which the whole world is dependent. Bhavet, one who has understood this, what? Punaha avrittihi bhavam bho nidhav na. So there will not be a punaha avrittihi in the bhava ambho nidhav. This bhava ambho nidhav in short is the ocean of samsara or the cycle of birth and death. Avritti. Avritti means rotation, no? Going round and round. So punaha means again. So one does not return to ignorance or the ocean of samsara or the cycle of birth and death. For one who has had sakshat karanat, one who has received the teaching and understood the teaching. Yat sakshat karanat bhavet na punaha avrittihi bhavam bho nidhav. And unto that Dakshinamurti, the Guru, my namaskaras. Yeah. So, one may think, okay, if I die, there is another body, another environment, another world. What's the problem? So the cycle, jananam maranam, it goes. We have to start again, and again we have to go through kindergarten and college and all that. Then connect to the shastras and get a guru. And who knows what kind of embodiment is waiting for me? Because only in the human sharira can I do shravanam, mananam, nididhyasana. So thinking of all that, the Guru says that you understand the teachings and make yourself ready for the teachings. Yat sakshat karanat bhavenna punaravrittihi bhava bhavam bho nidhav. And unto that Guru who awakens me, my namaskaras. So that is the third verse, and let us just quickly do one more briefly. Fourth one. Nana chitra ghatodara sthita maha.
Nana chitra ghatodara sthita maha.
Deepa prabha bhaswaram.
Deepa prabha bhaswaram.
Nana chitra ghatodara sthita mahadeepa prabha bhaswaram.
Nana chitra ghatodara sthita mahadeepa prabha bhaswaram.
Jnanam yasya tu.
Jnanam yasya tu.
Chakshuradikarana-dvara bahispandhate.
Chakshuradikarana-dvara bahispandate.
Jnanam yasya tu chakshuradikarana-dvara bahispandhate.
Jnanam yasya tu chakshuradikarana-dvara bahispandate.
Janamiti tameva bhantam.
Janamiti tameva bhantam.
Anubhatyetat samastan jagat.
Anubhatyetat samastan jagat.
Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhatyetat samastam jagat.
Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhatyetat samastan jagat.
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
One more time, I'll do the whole thing. Nana Chitra Ghatodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabha Bhaswaram. Jnanam yasya tu chakshuradikarana-dvara bahispandhate. Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhatyetat samastam jagat. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Again, a very beautiful verse elaborating on that Atma Jnanam. You notice the first line, Nana Chitra Gato Darasthitamaha Deepa Prabha Bhaswaram. Paatale Bayandiduvom ellarum. It looks very scary, does not? This is called a typical compound, samasa, compound word in Sanskritam, a very long word. And that whole sentence is one word, you know. So, Nana, Chitra, Ghataha, no, Udara, Sthita, Maha, Deepa, Prabha, Bhaswaram. So, here it's giving an analogy that supposing you take a pot, you know, matka, you take a pot and overturn it. And then in the pot, there are Nana Chitra, holes. It is a perforated pot. Nana Chitra Ghata. And Udara Sthitam. Udara means seated upside down. In the stomach of the pot, there are Nana Chitras, holes. No? Then Mahadeepa Prabha Bhaswaram. And a huge light is put inside the pot. We do this now on Deepavali or any other festive occasions. Very beautiful to see that workmanship, you know. So this is the metaphor. So a huge light is placed inside the body of the pot, and there are holes on the stomach, udara of the pot. Jnanam yasyutu chakshura dikarana dvara bahispandati. So here Shankaracharya is telling the body is also like a pot. If you imagine the body to be a ghataha, then what are the apertures, chidras? They are the organs of knowledge. Eyes, ears, nose, skin, mouth, you know. Then that light which is coming from the pot, how will it travel? It will travel through the holes, right? If you place that pot in a dark room, then we will find as many beams of light as there are holes. So too, here Shankaracharya says that Atma Jyoti is that light which is streaming out through the sense organs of this body-like pot. Yeah? The body is a pot, then the sense organs are the avenues through which that light of Atma is emerging. Now again, we should not imagine, you know, fumes of light coming out of the body. But what this means is that every time, you know, I look somewhere, there is perception, sight. Then there is sounds. Then smells, taste, touch. So these are the cognitions. And it is that Atma, the Atma Jyoti, which is illumining my cognitions. How am I able to see, hear, taste, touch, feel, smell? Because of the light of Atma, which is illumining the mind. And then I'm, perceiving the whole world through these sense organs. So what a beautiful metaphor, you know? An upside turned pot, perforated, you place a lamp inside, and that lamp is you, Atma Jyoti, and that Atma Jyoti, you know, shines forth, or it, streams outwards through my sense organs and picks up the whole world in the form of these sensations. Jnanam yasyatu chakshuhu adi. Chakshuradi means chakshu, nasika, adi, etc. Eyes, etc. are the karanas, and then bahihi spandate, it shines forth outwards. Then janami iti tameva bhantam anubhati etat samastam jagat. Janami. Yeah? So that Atma Jyoti is amness. I am. Swamiji will say, don't go any further. If you say, I am Usha, I am Sumatmananda, I am Sharma, that's it. You've gone into the world. Stay with the source. I am. That is consciousness. That is janami iti tameva bhantam. That Atma Jyoti is the original, only source of light. and anubhati etat samastam jagat. And the whole world is shining, or it is known because of that Atma. Yeah, that's why I brought those words now. Bhati, anubhati. Yeah. So what is originally shining independently is Atma Jyoti. And everything else, the whole world, including the sun. There is one more Ekashloki Vedanta by Shankaracharya, brilliant, which maybe I'll do next time. That even to see the sun, external sun, I need my eyes, right? Then the eyes have to be supported by the mind, and the mind has to be lit up by Atma. So ultimately, to see anything, to know anything without the blessing and grace of Atma Jyoti, it is not possible. And that is the third line here. The entire Jagat, etat samastam Jagat anubhati. Where janami iti tameva. Tam means Atma Jyoti. That is bhantam. So the one that shines as a consciousness, as I know. And because of Atma Jyoti, the whole world is known. Yeah? And tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurthy. So unto that Guru who awakens the Jiva by the teachings of the Upanishads, Tat Tvam Asi. And the teaching, what is the teaching? That Dakshinamurthy who has appeared as the Guru is also my essential Swarupa. So the truth of the world, essential reality of me, the Jiva, and essential reality of Ishvara, the Creator, is one. Nitya Atma Vastu. Yeah. So I think that is enough for today. We will conclude with the mantras. So just one last thing is, see, there are orders of reality. Now, just because I say the world is mithya, does not mean it is not important. Yeah? My relationships are important. My role playing is important. What a beautiful vyavahara and script I have to follow in life. Everything is beautiful. But where is the problem? When I say mine, this is mine. I was thinking the other day, we have beautiful trees outside. I should not say my house, but just to make it clear, the house in which I live in, there is a tree just outside, and I pluck flowers for the puja. So when other people come to pluck the flowers, will the thought come to my mind, oh, how dare they pluck from my tree? Where did that my come from? So that is the Maya, How easily I think I say my house, my tree, I am entitled to this, and others should not pluck flowers from my tree. So that is the samsara. So samsara is in the mind and not really in the world. The objective reality is very beautiful, is to be enjoyed, and but understood as a dependent reality. And to own up the absolute reality, that is this Atma Nitya Vastu Satyam, is the purpose of the teaching, and which the Guru does for all of us, Jivas. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. So we've completed 4